Lotte was just speaking very emotionally about what it means to play in front of 60,000 fans at a sold-out Emirates. How proud are you to be leading a team into that environment?
Yeah, it's a huge occasion for us as a team, for us as a club. It's a compliment to a lot of people, not only here that has been directly involved in pushing the sales of the tickets for this game and to generating the interest. This is built on the players that were here before this team, for the coaches, for people in the club, for putting everything together, for people like you in here that has been working, reporting, and putting the spotlight on the right places. And it's astonishing that it's happening, and we're gonna make our very best to repay all the faith that is put into us, but also to enjoy the moment, of course.
And with the tie on a knife edge, how big an impact could a crowd that big have on the tie?
I think our fans has been nothing short of brilliant this season. I think at times when we have had it tough result-wise, they've never gone quiet. They've always been there supporting us. I think they've been absolutely magnificent, and if they can be just as magnificent tomorrow, that's going to be a huge boost for the whole team.
What's the team news? Hertig and Ford, are they in the frame to be available?
Yeah, so Lina is in the squad and is fully available, and Caitlin is still a little bit away from playing.
So after 2-2 in the first match, how confident are you that you can get over the line and get to Eindhoven?
I don't think it's about me being confident or not confident. It's about me believing that we can do it, and the players believing that we can do it, and we're going to put everything out there on the pitch. It's one game that separates us from a dream, so let's bring everything on the pitch and leave it there.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi Jonas. You started with a back three last week in Wolfsburg. I'm not going to ask you whether you'll do that again because I know you won't tell me. But one of the things I felt like a slight difference from when Arsenal played that way at City and when Arsenal played that way in Wolfsburg were the wide players particularly dropping in to central midfield, probably a bit more. Maybe I just didn't notice it as much in the City game. Was that a lesson from that game, and just how important were Victoria Pelova and Katie McCabe in kind of making sure Arsenal didn't get outnumbered in that area?
Yeah, from a numbers perspective, if we only speak about that last game there, of course they play with 3 central midfielders and we only play with 2 central midfielders. So it's a 3v2 situation to start with that we somehow needs to manage, and there is essentially you can manage it from behind by stepping more with your central defenders to step onto their midfield players, or you can manage it with your 9 dropping deeper to deal with their 6, or like you're saying, you can have your 10s coming inside and work helping with the central midfielders, and it's about for the team to find a moment to do the right thing, but you definitely need to manage that situation in a game like that.
And another thing that strikes me just looking at Arsenal across the Champions League this season is just the different types of performances and the different adaptations maybe to in-game situations. I think of Juventus at home closing that game out at 1-0, the counter-attacking at Lyon, coming back into the game at Bayern. I feel like I've seen a lot of different sides of Arsenal in the Champions League, and I kind of feel like tomorrow maybe they have to show a little bit of all of those sides at different points. Is that what you think?
Yeah, I think that's a very nice way of putting it. I think that's what's required in the biggest games, that it's not going to be one-sided. You need to do all phases of the game, and you need to adapt during the game as well. You need to go in with an open mind, full of belief, try your very best, but both teams are going to tweak things underway, and it's about being coachable, being adaptable, being solution-orientated. I thought the players were magnificent in the away game in Germany, finding solutions in a really high pressured situation. And if we can do that again, I would be very proud of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Jonas. I'm not sure if you remember last year when Tobin left, you spoke about her being like the tree in the Avatar movie. I was just wondering, with her coming back this week and also Kelly Smith coming back this week, did it almost feel like you're kind of plugging back into that tree in the Avatar movie?
Yeah, but it's also funny how you remind me of that, because of course Tobin was here visiting, which was lovely, because it reminds you again of all the great qualities she had, both as a person and as a player for us. Kelly is a brilliant example, but also to see how the team responds for injuries with Leah Williamson and Kim now recently. For the team to really want to play, also for the players that can't play at the moment. That's also the same analogy in that, to almost honoring those players. It's just such a nice way when a team can work like that, and you can't take that for granted. It's a special group of players that are really stepping up, and they are really living that culture at the moment, and it's a really nice being part of, and we need to keep that going on forward, to create even more things to fill that tree with, so it can be even stronger in the future.
And obviously a lot of the focus is on the players, but with Kelly and Lydia coming into the coaching staff, obviously we know Patrick came in earlier, but what do they kind of add to your coaching staff coming in at these later points in the season?
I mean, Lydia, I think, has really helped us shape a really good culture around individual development, and how we empower the players even more to be the one that is. They're in charge of their development, and it has to be like that. In life and in football, if you're not in charge of your development yourself, if you leave that in someone else's hand, you're playing a game of chance with your own destiny, and that can't be right. So you need to take ownership of that, and we need to build a culture of that, and she's been really important in doing that. Kelly provides us with the perspective of being a top player, not only in general, but at this club. She knows what it means to play for Arsenal, and she also knows what it is to be executing these things on the pitch. So her coming in and helping us in the system to come in with the details for our attacking players, and to help with the way that she was thinking in how you can help the team best, it just provides us with a really nice perspective as well, which I have found straight away when I listen to Kelly, when I ask her a question. It makes us better, and I knew that it was going to be like that, because I was lucky enough to spend some time working with her as a pundit for last summer's Euros, so I knew what I was getting. She maybe didn't realize it then when we were standing there discussing football, but I was listening, asking questions, and I was like, yeah, this is definitely good. It's definitely something that will improve us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Alan. Molly?
Hi Jonas. We've kind of talked over the season, and maybe even last season, a little bit about Arsenal playing at the Emirates and making sure that it feels like a home, that you didn't kind of lose that home advantage, especially when the crowds were a lot smaller. I wonder if you can talk a little bit about that process and how you and the squad feel, and is this, I suppose, the culmination of that process being probably the biggest game of the season with sellout crowd? It feels like this is kind of what you've been building up to across that whole process.
Yeah, but I don't see this as an end point for it. And I know this sounds very weird, but for me this has always been the natural progression that we were going to get here. Then if it was this game or not, I don't know. But I felt the club has had a plan. The club has so many people that are doing the best that we can to advertise it. The players are doing their very best to advertise to come to the game as well with the way that we are playing. So for me, it's about the sustain, to having consistency on it. And for me, I hope when we look back on the day tomorrow in history, we can see that was one of the starting points. where we started to making this as a regular occurrence. But you're right that we have been taking every opportunity that we have had since I came here to always go to the Emirates. That has always been the preference for it, for Champions League games and so on, to take every chance to go there, in order for the reason to say, the more times we play there, the more it will feel like home, and also to say it gives us the platform and the foundation to spread our game to more people and to a wider audience. And I think that's so important, and I think we see the benefits of that now.
Sandra.
I'm just following on from some of what Molly was asking. Obviously we've seen at the men's games there, was it the Ashburton Army type thing? Would you? Is that something that you would like to see, or would hope to see in a game of this magnitude? Obviously, filling out with this one being packed out. Is this something you would like to kind of see following Arsenal inside when they're playing at the Emirates, for example?
I think the biggest, or one of the biggest difference when I compare our fans from this season to last season is definitely that they have an even stronger supportive side to us. We have loud fans. We have fans that sings, and they proud themselves of our out singing the opposing fans. And it's important to me, it's important to the team that we have fans that really come behind us, that really shows what it means to them, because it means a lot to us also, and together we can create that. So I like passion on the pitch, I like passion off the pitch as well. So I'm very happy to play in front of loud fans.
Thanks, Sandra. Anything else, Lily?
What have you been stressing in practice since the first leg, especially with this being a game that could go to extra time or penalties?
We've been focusing on our way of playing. Of course, there is a lot of different strategies that you need to deal with. It can be that it comes to extra time, it comes to a penalty shootout, so of course you need to have strategies in place for that. Also, it can be different results that you need to manage during the games, and you need to have a plan and clear strategy for that. But we've had the luxury of having a lot of training days this year, so we've been managing to work with a lot of things in our game that we usually are not have the time to do. So, and I've been really happy with the players' response in training, their concentration levels, and I hope we have prioritized the right moments that can make the most possible impact tomorrow.